Hello, I am back. I have not posted in a while because of just life getting in the way. Couple of quick updates. Moved to a new town. Moved, got a new job. Just been working a lot, so that's been why I haven't updated anything in a while. I do have things that I am working on, so I will be trying to get those out whenever I can. But today was the showcase for Final Shape. So I do have some notes on what I thought was good, what I thought was bad, things like that, and my overall opinion of what's going to happen. Not that anybody cares. I have 35 subscribers. I'm well aware of that. But I figured I'd give my 2 cents on a few things here. First of all, the marketing team for Bungie is doing a phenomenal job, just as they have always done. I have been on the verge of just saying I'm done, and now they've got me all excited to play more and spend $100 more on this next DLC, maybe buy the collector's edition because I want the scale model of the tower, to be honest. But so my first thing that I want to talk about is just the new supers. So my buddy Kyle has been asking for different cool things that like Titans should be able to do, and throwing an axe has legitimately been one of them. That was his first thought whenever Strand was about to come out, and that is what he wanted, or something along those lines. I think that bringing back Radiance could be problematic. As most of us know, that was the most used super by Warlocks in D1. It is because of self-res, and then bringing it back with a few modified features without self-res, I think is the best way for them to balance it in the current sandbox. So that was something that I got really excited about to try out and see how that goes. And lastly was the Hunter. It's actually the one I'm the least excited about out of the three. The new arc, throw the blade and teleport there. It's neat. No, it actually looks really cool. It's just, I don't know how much I'm going to use that. I do not play Arc a whole lot on Hunter. With the gameplay in the background, I typically play Void, just because I like the invis. I like having this stupid, crazy build with literally every buff you can have from the subclass going on at once. But I will definitely be testing it out, seeing how it plays, things like that. The next big thing that I wanted to talk about was the Subjugators, the new enemy type that they are introducing into the game. I think that they look really cool. They are going to play differently than Tormentors, play differently from the Hive Guardians, who both just kind of seemed to rush on you, in my experience, and just absolutely murk you. And they're going to be playing more of a support role than that to the rank and file ads. So I think that's going to make people have to either play a bit more aggressively than they normally would in that kind of content, because I know a lot of people with the Legendary campaign typically just like take it slow. They play it almost like a GM Nightfall, but adding that, you can't just sit as passively as you've been able to in the past, which I think will maybe create some panic more than even Tormentors did. If you don't remember how Tormentors were, here is my first time running into one.
Chance.
This is our only hope to survive the
What the fuck?
But yeah, the whole like sitting back being a support role for the rank and file ads, I do like that concept a lot. I do also like that they're giving them like the darkness powers this time rather than light powers, which didn't make a whole lot of sense in my opinion. Being able to be suppressed by a basically darkness enemy didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I could be completely misunderstanding how things work, but using a light element when you're being of darkness just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Anyways, the two new weapon types, we have the support auto rifle, which you can alternate between killing things and healing your teammates. I think that's an odd choice to do for like a legendary weapon. Like I get they wanted to put more of like a support kind of thing into the game, because the only other thing that really does that is Lumina. But making that a legendary weapon kind of odd. I feel like they could have done something a little bit probably cooler, I would say. I don't know. We'll see how it plays. We'll see if it's even worth using whenever that comes out. But in my opinion, kind of just an odd choice to make that an entire archetype. There's also the rocket pistols, which, quite frankly, just sound cool. But in actuality, like, how often am I going to pick that for my special weapon whenever we have what we have right now with things like Wither Horde, even though that's a kinetic, or like iterative loop with Bolt Shot, things like that. Like, what is going to make that stand out? Because you don't see people using Forerunner as much in PvE. You still sometimes see it in PvP, but what's going to make me want to run that is my big question with those. But it does overall look like a cool concept for a weapon, so we'll see how it plays. The last thing I really want to talk about is the new episodic model that they're using rather than the seasonal model. Based on the layout that they had, where it's new thing every 6 weeks, like it sounds a lot like what year one of Destiny 1 felt like, with you have the base campaign and then you have the Dark Below, which is just a short campaign with a raid, and then you have House of Wolves, and like those all came out over the course of a year. Obviously this is going to be slightly different, but that's what it feels like by looking at everything. Other than that, like having the individual acts, if I read the chart correctly earlier, it sounds like they're going to be giving us a new exotic every season, or every act, as well as a new quest and other things like that. I don't know if the quest will be time gated. That's one of my big things, is if it's time gated is the real question, because the time gating gets people to come back every week to like figure out what happens next. And I have not gotten on specifically to grind on a Tuesday for any particular reason, for it being reset or anything like that. I haven't really done that a whole lot in the last little bit, just partially because power level, things like that. But that is my thinking on that. But if the episodic model works the way year one of Destiny 1 did, I will be more than content with that, because then it's not constant, like, oh, am I going to miss this? Am I going to miss that? It is just, okay, I can just catch up on this whenever I feel like. I don't have to like log in every week to find out what happens next. I just hope that that's how the quest works out, rather than it being time gated. The final thing I want to talk about is how I probably have a controversial opinion with this, but them announcing that it is Crota was probably my favorite part of it, just because I that was one of my favorite raids back in D1. Like, I don't have the nostalgia for the King's Fall raid or Wrath of the Machine raid because I didn't play those back in D1, but I just remember having my Eidolon ally trying to get the Crux of Crota so I could finally get the raid exotic, the Necrochasm, but I never got it, unfortunately. But I just remember like those days of going back and playing that and wanting that, because I had like leveled that weapon up. I don't know what my thinking was, but it was just my favorite raid out of the two that I played in D1. It was also technically Kyle's first raid. Whenever I was teaching him like Destiny and the world and how Guardians are and things like that, after we beat D1, I was like, hey, you want a 2-mana raid? And he was like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, we can do Crota. And he was like, we can try. And so we almost finished Crota 2-man. That would have been my first time doing a low man on that raid. So that was kind of that was how I got back into Destiny. Those were the modes that I enjoyed the most with that. So anyways, that's really all my thoughts on it. I'm probably not going to get another video up between now and the day 1 raid, but go and come and hang out while we try to beat this, because I've never beaten a day 1 raid. I'm going to be with a different crew this time. I don't know who I'm going to be with as of right now, but a lot of my friends can't do the day 1 for one reason or another. Hopefully Kyle will be there. Hopefully Jonah will be there, but we will see. Anyways, that is really about it. Check me out, which is $20.99 on Twitch, and that's about it. So yeah.